Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
नहीं मेरा अटेंशन उधर दिया हाँ आप बोल रहे थे ना
Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram 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 Sri Ram Sri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai
You're being trained, are you?
Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Sri 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 Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram
Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai
Ram. Shri Ram Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 Shri Ram Jai
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Pranam, pranam, pranam. Yeah. Today's chapter is also a very, very important one for all of us. Often the mind may get confused about two vital aspects in spirituality, Nirguna and Saguna. While Papa gives importance for the Nirguna Tattva, at no time we should feel that he has belittled the importance of Saguna. That we will see now. When on his tour, when he went to Jagannath Puri, any intense yearning in his mind welled up to have the darshan of the Lord. Big crowd, very big crowd. So he thought it might be possible. Suddenly one man comes, physically takes him out and makes way for him to go and stand before the sanctum sanctorum, before the Murti. And all in such a shortest time. And Papa had the darshan. This is the background. In Tirupati, we found he did not even try to go in because of the circumstances. So it might give an impression to us. Probably God wanted that no, Papa did not mean anything like that. So I will just, it's a small chapter, I will read and then we will come back to this. The train rode on, Jagannath Puri was reached in the evening. The night was spent on the veranda of the Dharmashala. The cold here was also very great. Next morning, both went up to a large tank outside the city, finishing bath and ablutions, directed their step to the famous temple of Jagannath. The beautiful white dome of which was visible high up in the sky from any place in that pious city. Now the Sadhuram and Ramdas found themselves at the great door of the temple, but how to gain entrance? The doorway was completely blocked up by the rushing crowd of pilgrims. There was a good deal of elbowing, pushing, kicking in the thick and struggling mass of humanity. Looking on this state of things, Ramdas, with hand joined in salutation, spoke, O Ram, how can thy poor slave gain access in this rush of men and obtain thy darshan? There appears to be no chance for him, a weak and helpless fakir. Scarcely were these words uttered, when from the crowd at the entrance out came a tall Brahmin, and approaching him, took him by the hand, led him to the door. Using all his strength, he pressed himself through the thick crowd, making a passage, conducted the bewildered Ramdas along with him. It all appeared like a dream. Ramdas had now become unconscious of his body and plunged into communion with the Almighty Ram. In about 5 minutes, he was standing before the big idol of Jagannath. The Brahmin still holding him by the hand, Ramdas laid his head at the feet of this idol. This over, the Brahmin took him for a round of the temple. O Ram, what words can convey thy kindness to thy slave? All glory to thee. All along, while going round, he was immersed in a strange ecstasy, tears flowing down profusely from his eyes. What joy indescribable. One moment of that existence outweighs all the pleasures of the world. A few minutes later, he and the Brahmin guide were out again at the very place where from he had been fetched. Here procuring some prasad, boiled rice, the Brahmin put it into the mouth of Ramdas. Now my work is over, said, and he was going inside the temple, leaving him. But before he did so, Ramdas was somehow impelled to put him a question. Brother, how was it that you were so kind to a wandering sadhu whom you took into the temple for darshan? Jagannath alone can answer your question, replied the Brahmin. No sooner did I see you than a strange and sudden desire seized me to take you in, get you the darshan of Jagannath. Why I did this? I cannot explain. It was all the work of God, certainly Ram's work. When we read this, one thing might be becoming clear to all of us, that he was not localizing the Almighty Lord of the universe to that form only. At the same time, the form was instrumental in connecting him to the Almighty Lord. Jagannath, Lord of the universe. And he was in an ecstatic mood. So this bhakti enlivens the spiritual journey. If you are merely guided by our intellect, it will not help us. It has a use, but bhakti has got a higher use. So we only pray to, Papa has been able to link it, blend it beautifully. In order that none of us get into the idea by the word nirguna, it is an intellectual exercise. No. He mentions even the spiritual journey. Bhakti is the root. Vairagya is the trunk. Jnana is the flower. Parabhakti is the fruit. Bhakti is the root. A relationship of Bhagavan and Bhakta, not a particular form, that is the only difference. Bhakti is there, sense of individuality and the power behind the sense of individuality. Sense of individuality prays to the power. So that is the first step. Please enable me to know your presence within me. And then in all. So this is the Bhaktan, Bhagavan, Bhakta and Bhagavan's relationship, Bhakti. That is the starting point. And then Papa explains, Vairagya is the trunk. We need to observe certain vows, certain self-denials, so that the comfort zones are reduced, and there we fit in God dimension, God thought, God consciousness, so which is what is called Vairagya, dispassion. And then Jnana has its role. Jnana is the fruit. Even the very act of praying is caused by you. Even all the equipments through which this prayer is rendered, it is all activated by you. This comes from Jnana. And then ultimate goal is Parabhakti, seeing him everywhere in all creation, in all manifestation. Not centered on one particular form. Bhakti is the root, Vairagya is the trunk, Jnana is the flower, Parabhakti is the fruit. So also we have to keep it in mind. So Bhakti enlivens the spiritual journey. Just now I read. No, difficult for you to locate.
I think it's inside.
No sound, Swamiji.
So Swamiji is not talking, that's why.
Okay.
Papa's words. It is not by calculation, affirmation, or intellectual acceptance we can attain the supreme realization. Everybody is not seeing, you know.
This is in the
It is not by calculation, affirmation, or intellectual acceptance we can attain that supreme realization. It's a state of super consciousness attained through continuous remembrance of God. If we are to keep up this remembrance always, we should be humble. No? The Bhakta and Bhagavan relationship. Beautifully has brought out. We should be humble. I am a servant, you are the master. You direct me, I do things. Your command is supreme for me. It is you who makes me see, talk, eat, walk, give, receive. All movements are by your power, by your will. See, Saguna Nirguna we are trying to understand. No? This is the approach. We pray and we state. These are all verifiable facts, Not that we have to believe something. It is not a dictum or a dogma. Verifiable. Without that power, life force, all these things cannot come. So the life force is addressed by the sense of individuality like this. I am a servant, you are the master. You direct me, I do things. Your command is supreme for me. It is you who makes me see, talk, eat, walk, give, receive. All movements are by your power, by your will. This sense of separation or relationship between master and the servant is maintained. We cannot wipe it out at once. We must approach him in the spirit of surrender to his power or will. That requires naturally continuous remembrance. The moment we forget him, the ego comes in. So we are asked to remember him throughout day and night and keep the ego away. Just as light dispels darkness, and the moment the light goes off, darkness comes in. The remembrance must flow in our mind continuously like a stream of oil poured from one vessel to another until the ego sense totally disappears. So this is the bhakta, The bhakti is beautifully brought out. There are two types of bhakti. Another bhakti we have seen, to a form. The bhakta pleads, cries, appeals to that form. That is one. Everything is valid. But Papa talks about the Saguna Nirguna or Nirguna Saguna. In this connection, we would also, we thought it would be appropriate to read a few lines of Vinobaji. Okay, after going through this very. So Saguna, when viewed from a different angle, is the height of Nirguna. There we must read this. Saguna, the form, viewed from a different angle, is the height of Nirguna.
இப்போ சகுன ரூபத்துல இமோஷனலா ஒட்டப்ப ஏற்றுக்கொண்டு கேரண்டி இது பட் இந்த குண ரூபத்துல அழுதா ஏற்றுக்கொண்டு கேரண்டி இல்லையே நான் சகுன ரூபாவில நம்ம அழுத பிரார்த்திச்சாக ஏற்றுக்கோங்க கேரண்டி இருக்கு பப்பாவே அவங்கள நம்ம அழுதுதான் எங்களை ஏற்றுக்குவேன் ஆனா அந்த குண ரூபத்துல அழுத அழுதா ஏற்றுக்கோங்க கேரண்டியே கிடையாது
சரிதான் அது அவளுக்கு என்ன சௌகரியமோ அதை எடுக்கணும் அதனாலேக்கும் ஒன்றும் நத்திங் இஸ் இன்வேலிட் அவளுக்கு தட்ஸ் வை he says, it is open to all of us. open to all of us.
Swamiji,
Ah,
Swamiji,
ah.
Papa first made appeal to Nirguna Rupa only in the first chapter,
Amam.
and his cry was heard. So how is that into Nirguna Rupa his cry was heard?
He is now clarifying that Saguna also is valid, but Saguna with the right perspective. When I go to a temple and when I bow down, when we bow down before Jagannath, Lord Jagannath, he said, you remember the words. He was talking not to Jagannath idol, he was talking to Ram only. So Ram gave him a special privilege. So it is valid. But at the same time, he was not attached to the form. Through the form, he was always connecting to the Almighty Lord of the universe. More about it, you will find it here. Height of Nirguna.
சுவாமிஜி
Ah.
நிர்குணா தர்ஷன் கிடைச்சிச்சுன்னா நம்ம இப்படி பேச மாட்டோம்ல சாமி.
Correct. But Nirguna Saguna வேற இல்லம்மா, எல்லாம் ஒண்ணுதான்.
கிடைக்காததுனால
What we have understood as Saguna is not the real Saguna. That's all. Probably we may be able to graduate it to a later stage after all this. The Saguna, you just please wait. He throws more about it. What we found as Saguna is the height of Nirguna. In the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, this question is put by Arjuna. Those, however, who fully controlling all their senses and even minded towards all, and devoted to the welfare of all beings, constantly adore as the very self, the unthinkable, omnipresent, indestructible, indefinable, eternal, changeless, they too come to me. Of course, the strain is greater for those who have their mind attached to the unmanifest. Klesho adhikara. As attunement with the unmanifest is attained with difficulty by the body-conscious people. On the other hand, those depending exclusively on me and surrendering all actions to me, worship me, constantly meditating on me with single-minded, I speedily deliver them from the ocean of birth and death, their mind being fixed on me. Therefore, fix your mind on me and establish your intellect in me alone. Thereafter you will abide. So he says to concentrate on the nameless, it is a tough job. Agreed. So here he says, the question of choice between Saguna and Nirguna is similar. The Saguna devotee serves the Lord through his organs, whereas the Nirguna devotee thinks of the good of the world. The former appears absorbed in outward service, but his mind is absorbed in the contemplation of the Lord. The latter does not appear to be rendering any concrete service, but he is certainly rendering a great service from within. Which one of these two is superior? These two types of devotees may appear outwardly different, but they are intrinsically one and the same. Both of them are dear to the Lord. But Saguna Bhakti is easier. The answer given here is similar to the one given in the 5th chapter. In the yoga of Saguna Bhakti, organs can be directly employed. The organs could either be a help or a hindrance or both. Whether they save or destroy depends on the way we look at them. Suppose a man's mother is on the... For the Saguna devotee, the organs are the means. They are like flowers that are to be offered to the Lord. With his eyes, he beholds his form. With his ears, he listens to his praise and his edifying stories. With his mouth, he chants his name. He uses his legs for pilgrimage and hands to render service. In this way, he dedicates all his organs to the Lord. For him, they are no longer the means of enjoyment. Everything is for him. The senses are no longer for enjoyment. The flowers are there to be offered to the Lord. One should not put their garland around one's own neck. Likewise, the organs should be used in the service of the Lord. This is the outlook of a Saguna devotee. But to a Nirguna devotee, the organs appear to be a hindrance. He restrains them, starves them, keeps a watch over them. The Saguna devotee feels no need to do so. He surrenders his organs at the feet of the Lord. Both these are methods of controlling the organs. Whatever be the way, it is imperative to restrain the organs and prevent them from wallowing in the pleasures of the senses. But one way is easier, while the other one is difficult. Nirguna devotee is dedicated to the good of all. This is no ordinary thing. It is easier said than done. One who is absorbed in thinking about the good of the whole world can do nothing else. Hence, Nirguna sadhaka is difficult. Saguna worship, on the other hand, can be done by anybody according to his capacity. To serve a small village we are born in and to look after our parents is a form of Saguna worship. Such service should, of course, not go against the interests of the world. No matter how small your service is, it will have the character of bhakti if it does not go against the good of others. Otherwise, it will be a sort of attachment. The Saguna worship consists of serving parents, friends, distressed people, saints, considering them as forms of the Lord, and is content therein. It is easy. Hence, although Saguna and Nirguna Bhakti are essentially the same, Saguna is preferable on the ground of relative easiness. No? Relative easiness. Apart from the point of easiness, there is one more point. Nirguna worship is fraught with some risk. Nirguna is jnana. Saguna is full of love and tenderness and the warmth of feelings. A devotee is more secure therein. There was a time when I relied much on knowledge, but experience has taught me that knowledge alone is not enough. It does burn down gross impurities in the mind, but is powerless to wash away subtler impurities. Self-reliance, inquiry, discrimination, abhyasa, vairagya, all these means taken together are little aware here. Subtle impurities can be washed away only by the waters of bhakti. Only bhakti has the efficacy to do it. You may call it dependence, but it is dependence on nobody else but on the Lord. The mind cannot be completely cleansed without his help. Without Nirguna, Saguna is defective. I mentioned easiness and security as 2 plus points of Saguna worships. I can mention a few plus points for Nirguna worship. In Nirguna, one remains within limits. To take an example, we establish institutions to undertake various kinds of service. Initially, an individual establishes an institution. He is its main pillar. Everything revolves around him. But as the institution grows, it should not remain dependent on a single individual. It should then be guided by principle. Otherwise, decline is bound to set in soon after the departure of that individual. To take my favorite illustration, one cannot continue spinning when the belt on the wheel snaps, nor can then wind up the yarn already spun. This is what happens to the institution when it loses the key person. It then becomes orphaned. We have seen many, including spiritual institutions. This would not happen if the institution advances from devotedness to the individual to devotedness to principle. In ashram, that is why Papa on the first day of its inauguration, 15th May 1931, made it clear to all of us. The ideal of the ashram is universal love and service based upon the vision of divinity in everybody. Ideal, impersonal. Saguna needs help from Nirguna. One must eventually learn to free oneself from attachment to and preoccupation with individuals and outer forms. One must eventually learn to free oneself from attachment to and preoccupation with individuals and outer forms. The Ganga emerges from the Himalayas, from the locks of Lord Shiva, but she does not linger there. Leaving that support behind, she flows through the hills and the forests of the plains and can therefore benefit the people. In the same way, an institution should ready to adopt principles as its mainstay in the eventuality of losing the support of the key individual. While constructing an arch, support is given to it, but the support has to be withdrawn later. If the arch remains firmly in place after the support is removed, the support can be said to have done its work. Saguna is indeed the source of inspiration, but the ultimate culmination must be in Nirguna, in commitment to principles. Self-knowledge. Self-knowledge must ultimately emerge from the womb of devotion. Self-knowledge must ultimately emerge from the womb of devotion. The plant of bhakti must blossom into the flower of self-knowledge.
Swamiji, the Saguna Nirguna aspect, if you ரொம்ப சாரி டு எனக்கு இன்னொரு தடவை கூட நீங்க ஆரம்பத்திலேருந்து
சொல்றோம், இது முடிக்கிறோம். அந்த அவருடைய அந்த கொட்டேஷனுக்கு போறேன் நான். Lastly, I want to say that it is not easy to clearly distinguish between Saguna and Nirguna. What appears Saguna from one angle may appear Nirguna from another. In Saguna worship, a stone idol is looked upon as a symbol of God. But it is in the mother and in the saints that divine consciousness is clearly manifest. Wisdom, love, tenderness of affection are palpable in them. Still, they are not worshipped at the idols of Lord. Instead of serving people full of consciousness, instead of seeing Saguna God in them, God is seen in an inanimate stone. To see God in a stone is in a sense the height of Nirguna. It is easier to see God in the saints, the parents, the neighbors, who can be seen to have wisdom, love, and altruism. It is far more difficult to see God in a stone. Still, we worship the stone idol. Is it not verily the form of Nirguna worship? On the other hand, one feels that if God is not to be imagined in a stone, where else can we see him? This is the most beautiful part, A stone is the most appropriate thing to become God's symbol, as it is unruffled, unmoved, peaceful, undisturbed under any conditions. Our parents, neighbors, people, all these have their weaknesses. You are bound to find some or other weakness or fault in them. Hence, serving them is in a sense more difficult than worshipping a stone. A stone is the most appropriate thing to become God's symbol, as it is unruffled, unmoved, peaceful, undisturbed under any condition. To sum up, Saguna and Nirguna are complement.
Swamiji,
Huh?
does that mean that when we are, if we are doing Nirguna worship, Nirguna is also unruffled, undisturbed?
Amen. Great word, what does it mean?
But it responds to us, our
The moment a form comes, along with it, the limitation comes, Whereas what we have to realize is the unlimited. So for that we need the limited, but aim at unlimited. Whatever said and done, an individual is an individual, mortal. That is why our elders decided that we will have this idol worship also. Because it conveys, though a form is there, these qualities. We go to the temple, we offer flowers, we take away the flowers. We offer the dress, we take away the dress. We offer Naivedya, we take away everything. What is it that the idol asks? What is it that we do? For our satisfaction, we do. It remains untouched, unruffled. Somebody comes and takes the whole Vigraha without informing anybody, we call it as, thief. No. There also it goes along with it. See, look at it. What does it mean? Unruffled. There it doesn't get pujas. After some time it is located, it is brought back. Again the consecration ceremony or whatever you call it. But it remains untouched, unruffled, unaffected by any of these things. Because it is totally unconditional.
Swamiji, does it also mean unresponsive?
You can derive your own way. It remains Maya Adhyakshena. In Bhagavad Gita he says, I am the presiding officer, but I am not involved in anything. By my presence, everything becomes active. The very presence, that's all. I don't do anything. That is why Papa used the word great void as the first synonym for the all-pervading reality, Ram. Because great void means everything is included. Today you put this, today you don't put that. No, it changes. That is why a vessel you take, easy to understand that. Today you put sweetened sweets. Next day you put spicy. Third day you put bitter. It doesn't object, Whatever you want, you can make use of it. It remains untouched, unaffected. That is called the void, great void. Rajasic, Tamasic, Swatic qualities are all there, but it does not have any gunas. Positive, negative, deplorable, elevating, everything is there. It does not get involved.
It could be like a mirror.
Huh?
Like a mirror that reflects back what you offer.
It's like a mirror.
Mirror, exactly. Mirror, exactly. Mirror does not add anything to our form. What exactly is it? It is reflected there. It remains untouched, unruffled, unaffected. If I show okay. If I, That is why in Kerala, a great realized saint called Narayana Guru, the forward caste people objected. When he did the consecration, on those days this caste feeling was very much. So he humbly said, I have only, Eedava means, backward caste on those days. I have only installed a backward Shiva. And then he first in temple, there was no idol, there was only a mirror. Kannadi Ambar, Ivipuram. The moment you go there, and in Kerala, on the first Malayalam, what do you call that, year beginning, Vishu we call it. On that day, in everybody's house, previously, we will have a particular type of vessel where we'll have rice, we'll have a mirror, and then all the grains, navadanya, 9 grains and flowers, and then fruits, whatever available, everything will be there. At 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, the elders, in our case, father, he will come and we are not supposed to open our eyes. The year begins, So we will close our eyes and he will lead us and make us to sit there and ask us to open. The first thing he wants us to see is your own form. It's a gift of God he has given. Normally we don't accept. Through a mirror we are trying to understand the gift of God. And then we have to look at all the Mother Nature, how she has provided unconditionally for us. All these grains, pulses, plus fruits and flower. The idea is, when the mirror is put, first we did not know. We will also look, nice, I look nice. But later on only when Father told us, this is the idea behind it. You are seeing, you are on the Vishu day, you are with a heart of gratitude, remembering him. And the joy is shared. Good feast, good clothes. We will have these crackers, immediately after that we start. These are all the expressions of our joy. But the idea is this, look at yourself. God has given you this beautiful body. This platform through which he expresses himself. And through Mother Nature, he has provided everything. Anyway, coming back. So on the other hand, if one feels that if God is not to be imagined in a stone, where else can we see him? A stone is the most appropriate thing to become God's symbol, as it is unruffled, unmoved, peaceful, undisturbed under any conditions. Our parents, neighbors, the people in general, even the case of saints, somebody will have some different opinion, some limitation will be there as an individual. But all these have their weakness. You are bound to find some or the other weakness or fault in them. Hence, serving them is in a sense more difficult than worshipping a stone. To sum up, Saguna and Nirguna are complementary to each other. Saguna is easier than Nirguna, but in another sense, Nirguna is easy, Saguna is difficult. Both leads us to the same end. In the 5th chapter, it has been said that the yogi who does not get attached to karma, though he is continually engaged in action, is a sannyasi who does all karma while being apparently inactive, are one and the same. Similar is the case. Saguna, state of karma, Nirguna, state of sannyas, are one and the same. The Lord therefore faced the same predicament when he was asked whether yoga was better or sannyas. Finally, he replied on the basis of comparative easiness. He says karma yoga is preferable than karma sannyas. Lord says in the end, O Arjuna, you may prefer Saguna or Nirguna, but be a Bhakta. Do not remain untouched by devotion. And then the Lord describes the characteristic attributes of Bhakta. Now, there are about 7 slokas. Beautiful means beautiful. How does it begin, Who is my dearest devotee? And he starts bringing the eligibility clause. When I apply for a job, eligibility should be there. Swami Ranganathan used to write, you cannot say I am eligible. He should say you are eligible. I should qualify myself to become eligible to be his bhakta. So how do I become eligible to his bhakta? So in the 7 slokas, he all impersonal. All impersonal. What is the first sloka? Adveshta sarvabhudanam maitra karuna evaja nirmamo nirahankara samadukka subhakshami santushta satatam yogi yatatma dridhanishchaya mayarpida manobuddhihi yomad bhakta samepriya. Adveshta sarvabhudanam. You don't have time. Malice towards none. Sarvabhudanam, not only to individual, all creation. Maitra, friendliness. Karuna, compassionate. Nirmamo, not possessive, mine, no? Mine. Nirahankar, not me. Nirmamo, nirahankar, sama, dukkha, sukakshami. In dukkha and sukha. In good and bad, I maintain the equanimity. Kshami, endurance, forbearance. Santushta, always contented. No grumbling, no complaints. Satatam yogi, always, well-rooted. Yogi means he has given. So I maintain a relationship with him. Dridhanishchaya, yatatma dridhanishchaya, well-rooted in this. He is there, because of him only I am there. Mayarpita manobuddhihi, I am offering everything to him. Such a bhakta is dear to me. Like that, there are 7 slokas. All point out the nirguna aspect. So many years back, we were prompted to bring an example drawn from daily life for all these 7 slokas. And we have made a PPT so that people can understand easily, not simply going through that. How am I become? So anything that is drawn from the daily life. One example, say malice towards none. How am I to know that? I can reproduce, malice. One day early morning, one housewife was going for a walk. Suddenly, a couple of youngsters came in a bike, bike. Snatched her chain, went away. She became panicky, and then she immediately went to the police station nearby, lodged her complaint. Came back, her husband was having a small factory. So they came back, reported, okay. Evening, there was a phone call from the police station. They caught hold of the persons and also the chain. So the sub-inspector asked the husband, can you come over here and decide what should be done? He said, okay. So both wife and husband went there. They were in the lockup. So the police asked, this is the chain? Yeah, this is my chain. What do you want us to do? Spontaneous remark. This is a known person. It's an incident that had happened, not a story. This young man looked at the people. If they assure me that they will not do it again, they can come to my office tomorrow morning. I'll give them work. Sub-inspector was also touched. He released them with a warning next day morning. And then later on, it is mentioned in there. They became the most loyal workers. Another incident that comes to my mind. Raghuramji, Anandaramji's brother, he told me this. His father was working in Bombay. and the boss was a Britisher. So one of the assistants, he was irregular, office assistant. But still, he was given allowance. He will not come at the right time. He will not inform before he takes leave. 3-4 times he was warned. One day, enough was enough. So the boss said, send him away. He was discharged, dismissed. After 6 months, he came to the office and he asked Raghuramji's father, please give me a contact certificate. How can we give you a contact certificate? You were dismissed because of the delinquents. You were irregular. But somehow he said, I will have a word with the boss. So he went to his boss. That person has again come for a contact certificate. Give him a first class certificate. Sir, we have dismissed him because of this. Wow, how do you know that he has not changed? The very fact that he has come here, if he had ego, he would not have come, The very fact that he had come here and asked for a contact certificate, that means, he has changed. Give him a first class. Whenever we read this, it comes before us. Applied. So like that, for all these 7 shlokas, we made an attempt and got all. Nearly 100, Nearly 100 examples. So that through that example, we understand the meaning of it. So there also it's all nirguna. Tomorrow we'll go through a few of them, which is very, 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 very inspiring. Very inspiring. Everything we may not be able to cover, but still, because we are in that Saguna Nirguna, it will help us to know more about it. And this has particularly come in Bhagavad Gita. And this is a very important chapter, Bhakti Yoga. It is entitled Yoga of Devotion. And clearly he mentions about it. So we try to understand Saguna and Nirguna. We need the Nirguna aspect to be conveyed through a Saguna. No doubt about it. So he is valid. But at the same time, we should get the Nirguna aspect. Maintaining our reverence to the Saguna form. This is Papa's approach to spirituality. He not a dry Vedantin. That is the beauty of it. A dry Vedantin will not. Papa always uses. You might be remembering the In Quest of God, American edition. American edition, yes. Blue. So the preface was written by one Lance, I forgot his name. Lance something.
From Berkeley University.
Berkeley University. There he mentioned, he has not seen Papa. But when he went through this, he happened to remember about Papa's various teachings. He has gone deep into it. So there he pointed out this as a beautiful explanation for our Saguna Nirguna. When Papa was addressing during his foreign tour, every now and then he will say, God's will be done. 2-3 times they heard. Then somebody went and asked, what is the context between this and that? I told him, not to interfere. It is not good manners. But he said, who is sitting before you? Did you tell them that my will always, okay. God's will prevails. This was the mystic relationship he was maintaining. Though he was having that mystic relationship. That is the beauty of Saguna Nirguna. Not dry jnana, dry philosophy. Always had the feeling. And as we went deeper into his teaching, we also found one beautiful word. Though Ram and Ramdas are one, Ramdas would always like to be the Das of Ram. Though Ram and Ramdas are one, Ramdas would always like to be the Das of Ram. Because only then, when two are there only joy is there. I am Brahman, I am Prajna. There is nobody else, So he said, and he coined that word Ramdas, Das of Ram. Unlike the usual way of some Ananda or something, nothing, Saraswati, nothing. Ramdas. Somebody said Swami Ramdas. He did not say that. Somebody referred to him. We all then, when Mataji came to the scene, we started calling him Papa. That's all. Beloved Papa. So the idea is, it is not merely a Nirguna means it is not dry philosophy, but Nirguna Saguna or Saguna Nirguna. At the same time, the Saguna is not pointed to one particular person or object. So Papa proved that even in the absence of an idol, even in the absence of an Ishtadevata, one can have bhakti. Huh? Impersonal. That bhakti is not something, you need something to hang on. No.
He was climbing down a slope and he said, Ram, I've got you now. There's no way out.
Yeah. He did. And when she was saved, every time you find in the God experience, in Quest of God, his book, 400 times he has brought this word. The mystic relationship, communion with him. And in the next book he wrote was At the Feet of God. This was in 1925, that was in 1928. It is purely a soliloquy, inner dialogue. He talking to him, technically talking to whom? It's the mystic relationship. Beautiful. And then only we also get trained to be like that. Not an outside figure, but we develop a relationship, communion with him. Because as long as I am there as an individual, or this embodied self, more clearly, this embodied self must have a relationship with the articulating power behind it. And there is a joy in maintaining that relationship. So more about this tomorrow we'll see. So that is the height of Nirguna. He says, Vinobaji is, where else can you see that? As a wonderful, Where else can you see that? The stone is the most appropriate thing to become God's symbol, as it is unruffled, unmoved, peaceful, undisturbed under any conditions. You may prefer Saguna or Nirguna, but be a Bhakta. And
it's
then,
all play of God, isn't it, Swamiji? It's all play of God. Shashvatam,
It's all the play of God.
Yeah.
Shashvatam is Shashvatam, and vice versa.
Yeah. But that we will be able to say only when we reach there, no?
Yes.
At the moment we consider it,
Yes.
We are guided by the words of the masters and the scriptures. It is all the play of God. But just because I read it, I will not be able to. So now at this platform, at this level, I maintain a wonderful relationship, a mystic relationship with him, and then plead, appeal, complain, anything you can do that. Enjoy his company. Because he is with me, he has been with me. He is with me, he has been with me. All my sadhanas are zeroed to this, the one who is within me, to become aware of his presence. I am not aware. I treat him as separate. The moment I become aware, there is a wonderful relationship between me and him. And so whenever he makes me to forget, he may have his own reasons. So I complain, then he will reveal to me why he made me unaware. Immediately you are satisfied. So it all depends upon the relationship we have built up with him.
Yes, sure.
Even when Mataji was asked, the same thing was replied by Puja Mataji also. When Papa dropped the body, Mataji was in tears. So after 2 or 3 days, Puja Swamiji asked, having realized that all are one, everything is impersonal, everything is immortal, why Mataji you were crying? I was crying because none of you, what is that? None of you got benefited when he was in body. So then Swamiji said, for that we should be crying, You are not crying, so I am crying. Swamiji himself told us this. This is how Mataji's work. So she was maintaining that relationship also. Saguna Nirguna. If you go through the old vision, you will find during her period when she was in body, whenever anything that has happened even in the ashram, she will write letters to Papa. Though Papa and Mataji are one. And when you go through that letter, it is explicit that they are inseparable, but at the same time, she writes a letter.
Wasn't she praying to Papa and people said to her, why are you praying to Papa who's passed away? She said, well,
like this, she would say.
She said it's a habit.
But she will always say, this is Papa, this is Mataji. If you put anything there, it will fall away. If you hear, it will maintain. Because of her humbleness, though she is this much, we all know that. Anything and everything, suppose we ask anything or we watch, you have direct, but she will never. Honestly, she doesn't feel it. The height of it is, honestly, she feels the backside of the hand. If you put something here, it can hold. If you put something, it will fall. So don't approach me. She was very particular in praying to Papa. Don't make me a guru. She was very particular.
And she was praying to Papa that she would pass away first. And they said he's already passed away. I know, but it's a habit.
It's a habit. Anyway, more about it. We also, when simultaneously we go through their biographies, we find so many corroborating statements. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om